Warning, this podcast will contain spoilers about the series Hunted Australia. It'll contain some strong language and at some point may even contain a dog. Hide and Seek is a childhood classic game played by children all around the globe. But how about when they become grown-ups?
Could they leave behind the lives they built and stay hidden in order to win a cash prize, evading capture from their country's elite team of hunters?
My name's Craig.
And I'm Nat. In 2022, we discovered the UK version of Hunted and became obsessed.
We've since found out about Hunted all around the globe, and for this series of the podcast, we're going down under to talk all things Hunted Australia.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. I've just received information that we have 18 fugitives in 2 vehicles headed towards the Melbourne area.
Copy, Chief.
Photo Delta will review the footage and stand by.
You got to trust your instincts. I know you thought you were trusting them today. Maybe you were. We don't know if they came. That's just it. We don't.
The thing that scares me the most about going on the run is paranoia. Just that whole unknown element of, will we be hunted today?
Surveillance in Australia, I just feel like everyone's being watched.
If I can't outsmart the hunters, then how am I supposed to do my own job? It's almost conflicting to normally be the good guy.
You're the bad cop now.
Yeah, but you still have to win.
Why not my house? I mean, that's an option.
That's a rookie error. Like, only because it's the first night. They'll be thinking, well, who are they going to reach out to first?
I quite honestly don't think it's going to be an issue tonight.
That's the access point right there for vehicles.
So if we're going to deploy a sentry camera on that, we want to have it in a position that can cover the driveway and on foot straight at the front door.
Hi Delta team, what I need is you to put a camera up so we can see all access points, keep them under surveillance, do not get compromised.
Is there anyone in the car?
Oh, look, they might be leading down.
We're going to lose Jackie in a minute.
Is that Jackie? That's Jackie. Jackie!
Oh, hunters. That's her. That's her. Oh,
no! So it's time to get your capture pants on and run away from the hunters.
It's not the hunters I'd worry about, it's the 400,000 crocodiles and 140 species of land snake.
It's okay. No snakes or crocodiles are going to get you here. We're still in the UK.
Jordan might though.
Good point.
Welcome to the Hunted Podcast.
Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
Hello and welcome back to the Hunted Podcast, or should that be? G'day, mate.
No.
How you all doing? No?
No.
Apparently I'm not allowed to do Australian accents now.
Okay, a little one.
That's all I'm getting to do.
That's all you're allowed.
So where did we leave off?
We left off after episode 1.
So let's remind people what we're doing very, very quickly and give people an update, because for us, sitting down and recording, it's actually been quite a long time.
Yes.
And we've sort of done things out of sync, haven't we?
A little bit, yeah. We've sort of watched the first episode, done some interviews, watched the second.
Yeah, so we watched the first episode and recorded the first episode of Series 3 before we'd interviewed Bobby.
The Speakmans.
And
Cashmore.
So we sort of focused on that and forgot a little bit about Australian Hunted.
Yeah.
But now we're back on it and we are focusing on it, and we are focusing on it until we get news of Civilian Hunted UK coming out on our screens on Channel 4.
Yeah.
If that does happen, whilst we do these episodes of Australian Hunted, we'll pause and we'll come back to it at another point.
Yeah.
So there we go. We're up to date. And just to say, like we said in the intro, we're not messing about. There will be spoilers, so please do go and watch Australian Hunted episodes 2 and
3
on the Channel 4 app to make sure you catch up. And if you want to get in touch with us and have your say on Australian Hunted and everything that we talk about on the Hunted podcast.
Twitter is @HuntedPod, Instagram is @HuntedPod, Facebook we're HuntedPod, or you can email us huntedpod@outlook.com and continue to say something when you email us, please. If you just say hi, we can't speak to you.
If you say hi, we say bye. Right, let's move on. Let's talk about this now. Obviously, we'd not watched episodes 2 and 3 straight after episode 1, so we've had a bit of a gap in watching it. And there's one thing which the Australians do really, really well, which when you've not watched it for a while, and maybe you've not watched it for a week when it goes out, I'm actually really pleased with, and I want the UK version to do it.
Right.
And that is, they have a recap. They have a last time out.
Yeah.
You get a previously on it, and it's just really good to bring you up to date in a nutshell.
Very detailed as well.
Yes. I mean, it probably does go on a little bit too long, that previously bit, because it's almost like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Condense that, and you've got it spot on. But it's appreciated.
Yeah, we get to know what's happening.
It was very much appreciated. Now, at the end of episode 1, we did have our first capture in the bag, didn't we?
We did. We had caught Michelle.
Yes, and we were hot on the tail of
Angie.
And that is pretty much where we picked the tail up later in the show. But of course, at the end of episode 1, we weren't just on the tail of one pair of fugitives, we were also on the tail of Jessica and Erina?
Yes, that is correct. They were in a campsite.
High five to me.
Boom.
Thank you.
They were in a campsite in Beechworth.
Yes, and it looked like that Team Charlie, Team Charlie, because they do things by
the phonetic alphabet.
P.
Polo.
No.
It's not the one I'm thinking of.
No.
I've got no idea.
And we literally went through this in the last episode. I'm just
Mike, November, Oscar.
I've been driving in my car.
Beep, 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 yeah!
So instead of beep, beep, it's... Oh, no, actually, that's a really poor one. You know when we go on holiday next week?
Yes.
Where are we going to get the chicken from?
The shop.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Where are we going to get the chicken from? Come on.
Nando's.
I'm so sorry that this has taken such a horrendous detour. I needed to get this before we move on. Come on, where are we going to get the chicken from? We're going to buy it from John, but it's not just John, is it? It's John and his dad, a.k.a. his...
parent.
Oh, no. Come on. Not his parent. His male parent, which would be his...
dad. Father.
But what letter are we looking for?
P.
Which would be his... think American.
Papa.
Yes. Finally. Well done. I can't believe it took you so long to get there.
I'm supposed to be clever.
Back to the Fugitives, please, shall we? Let's go back to the Fugitives.
Erina and Jess were in a campsite. There was Team C.
Team Charlie.
There. They had been told the site that they were... the plot that they were on. They went looking in tents, and we can open the tent, however we do not penetrate inside the tent.
I forgot about the penetration.
Don't penetrate the tent. But at the start of episode 2 we see Erina and Jess leave the campsite.
Yes, we do. Now I have a little thing. Because we're covering 2 episodes in one.
Yeah.
I don't think we should just go through in order of what happened and just go, this happened, this happened,
right.
This happened. I think we should just look at the fugitives that we've had.
And look what they've done.
Look and just talk about what they did.
Yeah.
So we look at the fugitives in the pairs of what they did, talk about what they did, cover it over both episodes.
Yeah.
Because if people want to watch it and they want the ins and the outs,
they'll watch it.
They'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So we do Erina and Jess.
Yes.
Right.
Then we do Angie.
Hold on.
We've got this. You can totally tell that we make this up as we go along and that we have no planning on this show because we've just basically watched the 2 episodes And then we've come upstairs, put the microphones and the cameras on, and here we go. You've got your iPad scribbling down.
I've got my iPad. I'm doing some doodling.
Some doodling, I like it. We just watched it on the iPad as well.
We have.
Yeah.
The joys of having no internet.
Love it.
Joys of being a grown-up.
Absolutely right. Have you got what you needed to scribble down? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Have you got what you needed to scribble down?
I'm all good. Let's go.
Right. Who are we going for first then?
So we're going to start with Erin Lee and Jess.
Okay. Erin Lee.
I believe that is her full name.
All right. We're full naming now, are we?
Full naming.
Okay. Right. So they're in Beechworth.
Yes.
And they escape from their tents and they are heading to... well, they're just heading to try and find somewhere. And they're very much a pair that try and gamble their luck. They try and ask for help. They're not relying on too many associates.
Nope.
They're putting themselves out there. They're
Yes.
playing a dangerous game.
We have I didn't get her name, but the psychologist for the Australian series,
Dr. Carla.
Dr. Carla, says that they are young, attractive and charming, which they will use to manipulate people to get what they want.
Yes. And we've seen that, and they do that and get into Kay's back garden.
Yep.
aka her shed, which looks almost like it could be turned into an Airbnb and a bungalow.
Yeah, it did look a bit... It looks a bit sort of studio-y, but also could be rented out.
Yes. So we get to 19 days in, and Jess and Erica are still in Beechworth. Now, for me, they spend too long in one location.
Yeah.
Like, it's still early in the running process. You know you've come very close to being caught. Why are you not just getting on your bike and getting gone?
But they've got this sort of difference in, I guess, personalities, where Jess is extremely paranoid, whereas Erina is very calm and, it's fine, we'll just stay here, I'm going to sleep here, we're safe. But she needs to be a bit more on edge, I think.
Yeah, definitely needs to be a bit more on edge. And we see that, don't we, with as it gets to later on when the hunters, the ground hunters... By the way, they cover some serious miles.
They do. They are sent between... To say that there's like 5, 6 teams of them, it seems to be the same ones being sent up and down that state.
Yeah, it's the Alpha team and the Charlie team who... So, Charlie team have gone from Jess and Erina to try and get on to Angie, which we'll come on to, and then they've ended up going back at one point to Jess and Erina, which was 3 hours north of where they were with Angie. So
they went 3 hours to Angie.
Yeah.
Followed Angie right around a bit, and then 3 hours back to Jess and Erina.
So 6 hours of their day has been spent travelling.
Yeah.
And we know that the shoot days are quite long.
Yeah.
Not quite sure what the Hunted Australia ones are. We know in the UK, I think it's 12 hours, 12 or 10 hours. So that's a fair chunk of their day.
Yeah.
And all of this action, by the way, is happening on one day.
Yeah.
That's what frustrates me.
Yeah, it's all very sort of... Whereas I guess with the UK one, it's just action, action, action. This is all sort of drawn out...
And this is the problem that I'm having with this, right? Because in the UK version, when we've just done Celebrity Hunted, it focuses on one set of fugitives for a long time.
Yeah.
Like for basically one part or 2 parts of the show. So you're able to build up a real picture of their journey. And it's really difficult now to get, even though we've literally just finished watching 2 episodes back to back, to piece together what they actually did and try and put it into a condensed bubble without literally just saying... Jess and Erina did this, Jess and Erina did that.
Yeah.
It's so hard to put that into a funny, contextual way of what they actually did.
And I also feel like with Australia, whereas on the UK one, we get like a little update. So like with the Celebrity one that we've just watched, we got like Bobby and Saffron are here. Katya and Amy are here. Let's move on to what the Speakmans are doing, and we're going to follow the Speakmans.
Yeah.
Whereas here it's like... You start episode 2 and we're still on day 2 and we're finding out what lots of different teams were doing on day 2 instead of moving on.
Yeah, and it just seems so slow and so laborious to think that at the end of episode 3 we're 3-4 days in, if that. It's an absolute nightmare. It needs to pick up the pace for sure. Because I literally try and write down what they're doing. I try and write down some of the quotes, and it's basically, so and so is paranoid. They go to this place.
Yeah.
One quote. Oh, and then they've flipped back to the next pair, and it just doesn't follow it enough.
Like they could have. I feel like with Jess and Eleanor's capture.
Yeah.
That could have been done in episode 2.
And there'd been no difference in the timeline?
No. Like, it literally could have been done. They could have gone straight to that. Or maybe gone to that to a certain point, gone to Angie, cleared that up, and then gone straight back to Jess and Eleanor.
Yeah, because actually, it's not until really episode 3 that we focus more on Jess and Eleanor.
No. Because we're flitting between other people in episode 2.
But because it ended in such a way in episode 1 with them on the tail, if that was the UK, episode 2 would pick them up, follow them to getting captured or to getting away, and then you move on.
Yeah.
It's them out of the game. So, in episode 3, we've now got Jess and Eleanor. They're still in the same place, but they do have a little bit more action now. So they start with the awful Scarecrow joke.
Yeah.
Why did the Scarecrow win an award?
I don't know.
Because he was outstanding in his field. Thank you very much. And to be fair, for that joke alone, they deserve to be hunted out. Now, they're near a caravan park.
Yep.
And it turns out that there's a lot of kids who, for some reason, own drones. Do you know what I had when I was a kid? I was lucky if I had a PlayStation 2.
Yep.
Boggle.
Was that the cup thing?
No, the one with the dice and it was the letters.
Yeah.
Someone had a bop it.
Yeah, someone always had a bop it.
Bop it, push it, twist it, pull it, bop it.
Yeah.
That one.
Yep.
And we had a football and went out and played on the streets.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Or you just had a stick?
Yeah, or a stick. Yeah, pretending to, yeah. But now kids in Australia, in modern day Australia, have drones. And they end up flying it over near this caravan park and scaring Jess and Eleanor. And
more Jess.
No, just Jess actually. And Jess pegs it off into a field.
Yeah. She falls over again.
Yeah.
And then she hides in some trees or bushland, if you want the actual Australian term.
Some
bushland.
Trees. She falls in some trees.
Yeah. She hides. The hunters are on an adjacent path, and then they find a grown man looking for his drone.
Yeah. Now, I did write down at this point, and again, this is only said as a joke, so if you are that man in Australia and you are happening to be listening to this, please don't kill me. Could the ground hunters have accidentally saved Jess and Eleanor from a killer? Bite guy equals... What was it? Dodgy. Couldn't read my own writing. I think you got it more accurate though. You said he was drunk. You said
he looked drunk. He had a can in his hand and he just seemed a little bit, like he was trying to act sober, but he really wasn't, and he just wanted to find his drone. So yeah, they find the man looking for his drone, and then I did note down, Australian hunters give up really quickly.
Oh my god, yeah, they were literally like next to him.
It's like their children and their attentions. No, it's like they're Harry. And their attention span is ridiculously short. And you say, "Where's your ball?" And then he goes, "What ball?"
Yeah.
It's like they forgot that they were hunting for 2 people.
Yeah, they just gave up. They walked back with this guy, tried to get him to answer some questions, and that was it. They could have had them sooner.
Yeah.
But what I did write down about these two, that they did end up reuniting because Eleanor goes searching for Jess. Jess doesn't recognise her own friend's voice.
Nope.
Thinks that she's a hunter.
Yeah.
And then they forget the code word.
Rubber duckies.
Rubber ducky. I mean... So early on in the chase, you've obviously spent countless hours talking about what you're going to do and the possibilities. You'll have talked about what you're going to do if you split.
Yeah.
You'll have talked about a potential code word to make sure you're safe and if you're refound and that sort of stuff. How did they forget it 2 days in?
I don't know. I think there was a lot of panic there. I think there was a lot of panic. They didn't really know what they were doing, and it shows.
Yeah. And it's silly because what they do is they don't move on.
No, they go back.
They decide, oh, well, it was just kids, so we are safe here, so we're going to go back.
Yeah.
If I'd have been rattled in that way, and that had happened to me, there's not a chance that I'd have gone back to that house. No. I'd have kept on moving and got the hell out of there. And them going back, we see this a lot in Australian Hunted, actually, from what I've seen so far. People going back to where they were. Big mistake, rookie error.
They go back, they're comfortable, they're talking about what they're going to have for tea, and then we get hunters.
Yes. Now, they are picked up yet again on day 4, I believe.
Yes.
Wikipedia says it's day 4, but the narrative suggests it's day 3.
It's day 3/4.
Yeah, day 3 or 4. We're never quite clear.
No.
Maybe they should make that clear.
Yeah.
And the chase is now on. So, I wrote on my piece of paper in capital letters, never go back, because they did. They went back to Kay's house, and Team Charlie were closing in, and there was a nice little thing which I thought from HQ, which was, instead of eyes on, or gather round, Ray does a gather round, gather round, this could be a capture. It was and I'm going to do the accent. Attention on the floor, mates. And swiftly followed by, I want you to launch havoc.
I heard launch havoc. I liked that.
that one.
And they did launch havoc because they squealed.
Squealed? Were you going for squealed or screeched?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Squealed down the track. And I feel like they made a bit too much noise.
Yeah, I felt like that they were trying to maybe dramatise the capture there.
It was a bit too much.
Yeah, which, to be fair, after the previous captures was needed.
Yeah.
Come on,
so they go down the path. The girls figure out that it's them. They go out of the back of the property, and the hunters split to chase them.
Yeah, and the chase is very much on. It's a foot chase, and Team Charlie are on it. Well, when I say Team Charlie are on it, you know, Howie's the man.
Howie
is the Australian JP.
Yeah.
Because he is on it, and he is legging it. Over down the tracks, over the creek, and he gets Anna, one in the bag, but he doesn't stop there, does he?
No, he goes after Jess. And I have wrote for Jess, throws off bag, falls over again, falls into stream, captured.
Yeah, I got foot chase, Jess 2 falls, it's game over, boom. Mass celebrations by HQ, and that's another 2 out of the game, because they were actually the second Fugitive team to be completely taken out of the game. Let's quickly recap them, because we will probably never talk about Jess and Erina again. Obviously, friends, they didn't move quickly enough.
No.
They got paranoid too quickly. They didn't keep their cool.
But also too relaxed.
And yeah, they couldn't find the medium, could they, between relaxed and paranoid. So the paranoia kicked in with like any little sounds or doors opening or people going past.
Yeah.
But it didn't kick in enough for them to actually do something about it.
No.
Yeah. And I think had they done that, and had they carried on moving, because at the start, in episode 1, when that finished, I thought, oh, these 2 might actually pose a challenge. These 2 are going to keep moving. They're smart. They left the little decoy at the campsite.
Yeah.
They're going to keep going. I was completely wrong.
No, they just sort of... It's like they didn't want the adventure, but they wanted the adventure.
Yeah.
And didn't move quick enough.
It's like booking a holiday based on a zip wire, like the fastest in the country in the UK, and then losing your bottle and not going on it. You know what I mean?
There was no bottle lost, we just never booked it. Anyway.
Because we lost our bottle. Right, shall we move on?
Anyway, let's move on to Angie.
Yeah, let's.
So, Angie gets a lift to...
Now, important to remember with Angie that the last time we picked her up, she was part of the Nifty 50s.
Yeah.
And she was last seen evading the hunters after they caught her mate, whose name I can't remember.
Michelle.
Thank you. So Michelle was caught.
Yeah.
Angie got away in
Jackie's
car and basically had a nervous, emotional breakdown.
Yeah, she started going on about her father, who we talked about last time, who was part of London gangs. It seems like there's something there that she wanted to figure out. But she has a knee injury.
And it's this knee injury which is really, really impacting her. You see that she's struggling emotionally, and then because she's struggling emotionally, when you are in an emotional bad place, any form of physical pain just adds to it, and she can't move. We see her in she goes to somebody's house, doesn't she? Another associate's house eventually, after a close call on the train. Come to that in a second. But she puts the bag on with like fresh supplies because she dropped her original bag when she got away, and you can just see her wincing with the weight of the back. The bag, and it was almost like a metaphor for having the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Yeah. So Jackie drops her off back, basically where they were all launched from.
Yes. Why on earth would you go back into the fire?
I don't know.
If you escape from a burning building,
you're not going back.
You're not running back in, are you?
No. But she goes back. She goes to the train station, and obviously, Hunted HQ have been tracking Jackie's phone.
Yep. So they know where she's been dropped because they know about Jackie.
So then they activate the live CCTV and they see her go into the station, and they get the transaction of her using her, is it Mikey card?
Yes,
which is like
an Oyster card.
Oyster.
So even if they'd have not got the CCTV, they'd have picked her up with that anyway. But because they've got the CCTV, Team Charlie, busy episode for them, busy 2 episodes for them, are on their trail, and they are so close as she hops on the 10:40 train to Flinders Street Station, and you can basically see the hunters running down the platform as the train
but they don't know that she's on that train because they had no clue of where she was going. So she gets on the train and she gets to Box Hill and Stella's house.
And meanwhile, and this is another point of Australian Hunted which I like and I want to take into the UK version, props to them for doing this, Team Delta, who had obviously just caught Michelle, probably not half an hour previously in real terms, are examining Michelle's bag.
Yes, which we never see.
It's a genius move.
Yeah, because obviously they get loads of information. So there is a notebook in the bag which has phone numbers and it has a certain address in it.
Which happens to be Stella's house? Stella's house, which leads to, in my opinion, right, we've had some poor captures in the UK version. We've had Bus Lady.
Yeah.
We've had the 2 in Mansfield who kicked off with Danny and Nick. We've had Strolling Merv. We've had some poor ones. You know, we've had the worming Muppets.
Yeah.
Straight into the arms of Jordan.
Yeah.
You know, we've had some bad ones. I have to say that the capture which we saw of Angie has to go down in all of Hunted globally history as the shittest capture ever.
It was ridiculous.
Shall we play it out?
Go on then.
Knock, 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 knock.
Yeah.
Yeah, come in, mate. Yeah, all right. Oh, look, it's you. Oh, yeah, hand on your shoulder, you've been captured. See you later. Shall we have a coffee? Literally, no dramas.
No drama at all.
No drama whatsoever. I understand why, though, because she does say, I mean, where am I going to run?
Yeah.
And it's true, she can't run.
She's literally sat with an ice pack on her knee.
Yeah, she's going nowhere.
No, and I think whoever it is offers to help her up.
Yeah, bless them.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as much as they try and help her and like try and look after her, and as of course HQ say a lovely message to her, she does tell them to kiss her arse.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
Bit ungrateful.
Yep. She tells them to kiss her arse. And yeah, we've got another capture down.
Yes. So 2 episodes in at this point.
Yeah.
When we've got 1 fugitive team out of the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the end of episode 3, we've got 2 teams out of the game with Jess and Erina. But yeah, early captures as well. We don't see this on the UK version. We tend to maybe get 1 or 2 in the opening 2 episodes, but then it's rare to get 1 until episode 4 or 5.
Yeah, we get like close.
Yeah.
But it's not as quick as this. I don't know whether it's because there's more teams, more fugitive teams here.
Could well be.
So.
Well, I guess the pressure is on to do that because they have, 21 days?
Yes.
And there's 8 teams, whereas in
18
the UK,
fugitives.
it's the same amount of time, sometimes more.
But less.
Far less. I think we have 10, don't we?
Yeah, so we've got 8 less people to catch.
Yeah, so the pressure is on, so I suppose they do have to make tracks early, and that does affect how things are also going to go in the course of the show. I just hope in the next couple of episodes, the next time we sit down with the microphones on, I'm just hoping that it's a little bit more moved on, shall we say.
Do you want to do a really quick one?
Go on.
Sunny Joe and Grace.
Always love a quickie. Not right now, we're doing a podcast.
Sunny Joe and Grace. We literally see 2 seconds of them.
Yes.
Sunny Joe and Grace are dressed as a nun and a priest walking a dog. That's it.
Sounds like a punchline for a joke. We also need a lot more of them because we've literally got them waiting to do an interview with us. And so far, all we could say is, "Hi, Sunny Joe and Grace. How did you get on Hunted? Had you seen the show in the UK? What was your plan? Why were you dressed as a vicar and a dog?"
And is your Woolworths like our Woolworths was? Do you have a crack and pick and mix section?
Exactly. That's literally all we'd get to ask them. So, yes.
But anyway, then I'm done. Next, I would like to move on to Staffy and Matt.
I'm glad you said that because that's exactly what I've got on my piece of paper. I don't need to turn my paper over yet. I feel like this one could also be another quickie.
Go on then.
So, these have evaded the HQ team since the launch.
Yeah.
Since the drop. What was it that they called it in the first
Jump
episode?
point.
Jump point since the jump. But the HQ have another tactic up their sleeve, and that is to trawl through their cyber data.
Yes.
So just because you have evaded the CCTV, just because you've gone hidden for a couple of days doesn't mean that you're completely out of sight, because they are trawling through their data, and they do a sterling job as well, because you should always clean your data. Deleting your browser history is not enough. You need to reset that bad boy. You need to basically delete everything. Every move you make on the internet, every click, every type in your address bar leaves a shadow, leaves a footprint to be followed. So please do clean your data. Anyway, we see them on another great Australian place name, the Mornington Peninsula.
I like it.
I like it.
Yep.
Where they're planning to meet up with an associate to move them on.
Yep.
And then they discuss their tactic, which I have to say, and I'm going to give them credit for it, is a smart tactic. It's the 3 Ds. It's decoy. It's
disguise.
And it's beep. Because they didn't say what the last one is.
No.
Now, I wrote down 3 other Ds. I'm only going to say one of them.
Right.
Drink.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to say that their other tactic is to have a good time. I don't think it's anything that it shouldn't be.
Nope.
And it certainly shouldn't be anything else.
No.
So I'm going to say drink.
Okay.
But we see them deploy the decoy strategy.
Yeah.
Which is when they say we want to be the last men standing, and they deploy their decoy, which is very, very smart. So they have, as we established in episode 1, the hunters have access to the bank card which they were given.
Yeah.
Their Mikey cards, all of that stuff, all of the tech.
Yeah.
They know that, the fugitives know that, and it's the fugitives have to purposely draw the hunters in, etc. So they're off to Vanilla Slice Cafe.
Sounds nice.
But it's not them.
No, it's Mary. Mary goes with the card to get herself a vanilla slice.
While Staffy and Matt are off in the other direction
Yep.
with a friend.
Yes, we didn't get a friend's name, but yes, and then that's it.
Yeah, that's literally all we see of them. We don't get an update in episode 3 of them at all. So I'm sure we'll pick them up in episode 4 and see whether their decoy worked or not. Who are we going for next? Are we going for the auntie and the niece, or are we going for... Oh, no, I think that's it, isn't it?
No, we've got 2 more teams to look at.
Okay.
But next we're going to Karen and Brittany, who are aunt and niece.
Okay, so hello, Karen and Brittany.
Hello, Karen and Brittany. So we pick up Karen and Brittany in Emerald, another lovely place name in Australia. They are in a B&B along with Brittany's mum, Sonia.
Hi, Sonia.
Hi, Sonia. Sonia flies in from
South Australia.
Thank you. And brings their kit bag and supplies. Now, Sonia's mum had booked the B&B, which causes them a few issues because the hunters discover that Sonia is Brittany's mum. They get into Sonia's emails and they discover the booking.
Interesting point at this point as well. The hunters, and this is a good thing to talk about, the hunters get very little information on the fugitives. They literally get a name, an age, a mugshot, and some very basic, vague information.
Yeah.
They have to do a lot of digging. So they were you actually saw it in episode 1, they guessed that they might have been mother and daughter.
Yes.
But they're not.
No.
And that's how they can then nip into establishing those networks, so they can go, right, well, you're not mother and daughter. Oh, you're actually auntie and niece. So you'll want to see your mum. You might want to see your sister. We've got a potential avenue there, and they nitpick away.
Yeah.
And what I love about Australian Hunted, and there are things which I like about Australian Hunted, is the fact that they are on it with the detail. I don't mind it being that extra bit longer, because HQ are explaining what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're talking about the processes which they take and the reasoning behind those processes.
Yeah.
And I think as a first-time viewer to a show, that's what really draws me in. That's what drew me in when we watched the original UK series.
Yeah. There's more... It's less game showy or reality showy. It's more... This is our job, this is what we would normally do, this is the time and effort we put in, these are the steps we take, this is what we need to find out.
And this is why we're doing it.
Yeah.
And that's a huge, huge thing.
Yeah.
Now, the B&B that they stay with plays a key part in their journey because they use the B&B owner to try and help them get away with some really bad fake wigs which don't fit. And we are led to believe that the hunters, the Alpha team, which is Jason and Michelle, are right on their tail. They have a knock on the door, but it's the wrong person, and the trail goes a little bit cold.
Yeah.
Or does it?
Yeah. So, I believe the B&B owner is called Carmel.
Yes.
She drives them to an ATM to get money out. But there is an issue with said ATM, and obviously they've gone to use the card, so HQ has got a notification of that. So then they tap into the CCTV from the ATM, because all ATMs have CCTV.
Yes.
This one also has audio.
Yes.
And they hear that there is an issue with it, so they know that they don't get money. So then they work out that they're going to try and find another ATM to get money from. And
desperate times mean that people maybe make desperate moves, which don't always end well.
No. So they are running around looking for another ATM to use. I believe they find one. And on running back to Carmel's car, the hunter team spot them, follow them, or think they're following them, but lose them. And Carmel gets them away to Cape Patterson and the holiday home of a friend.
Yes, and whilst they're sitting there safely, after realising what's happened, the hunted team... know that Carmel has something to do with it, and then Carmel, well, The biggest part of the show for me, the biggest moment where we both paused it, looked at each other and went, that is what's needed in the UK version happens. And it is the Chief.
Yes.
David Craig?
Yeah.
Is impressing me scene by scene.
He is very involved.
Love it.
He's very involved with all the action and finding out information.
So, like with the UK version, HQ do watch the interrogation.
Yeah.
Because they've got them on video call, FaceTime and all of that stuff. They're utilising the tech to their advantage. And as the ground team interrogates Carmel, who is almost a bullshit queen, the Chief, David Craig, suspects that she is bullshitting and sees right through it and takes over.
He does, yeah.
He takes charge.
Yeah.
He takes command.
Yeah. And he offers her money for info. And the better the info, the more money.
And she, as soon as money was mentioned, said, I can tell you right where they are.
Yeah. But doesn't. She just says they all left together for the airport.
What was needed there was a figure. That was the one mistake I think HQ made.
Whereas
they should have gone, right, I'll give you $1,000.
Yeah.
Tell me where they are.
Yeah.
And if we get them captured within the next 24 hours, that money's yours.
Whereas if you think back to when they used to do interrogation, Blexley's series, he put actual cold hard cash.
I used to love Blexley
on the table, and he'd like spread it out and be like, "This is yours," and he'd be like, "No."
5 bags of sand here, mate.
and he'd leave out, and he'd come back in with like 2 extra grand, and he'd be like, 7. And would like literally push it towards them to get them to speak. They needed to be putting a figure on the table.
Yeah, and I think if they'd have put a figure on the table and it had been juicy enough...
Yeah, she would have taken it.
Yeah, because it makes no bones to her.
No.
She's got the money for the B&B stay, and she's helped them get away and had a bit of an adventure, and then she's got a few extra quid for grassing them up. Trust nobody in this life. Trust nobody in this life.
So... they get her details. He asks for her phone numbers.
Brilliant.
And she is put on monitoring.
Stroke of genius, because straight away, she's offered that phone. She's offered that phone number up with that thought of, if I give this and they get back in touch and it's good information, I can get the money.
Yeah, yeah.
So the little bit of greed has taken place there, and she's fallen for it hook, line and sinker, and they can follow where that phone's been. And it opens the game right up.
And that we leave Karen and Brittany on a beach making sandcastles with the hunters closing in on their location.
Right, who have we got next? You want another quickie? Because we have got a very, 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 very quick quickie if you want.
Have we?
Yeah.
Go for it then.
Nicholas and Lavina, unseen since day one, couple making each other a sandwich looking at a map. Next.
They weren't making each other a sandwich.
No,
she made her own. He got annoyed because he had to make his own.
Yeah. Privileged is what the hunters said.
They did.
I look forward to that unravelling. Right, where have we got left now? Derek and Courtney, is that it?
Last one is Derek and Courtney, please.
Okay, so Derek, a 24-year-old, and Courtney, a 22-year-old, are friends. They'd stayed in the inner city after the drop.
Yeah.
After the jump, and utilised their relationship. So they're big-ish on social media with a clothing brand. Is it Victoria Mob? Is that right?
I don't think that was the clothing brand, but it's something to do with Victoria Mob. It's something to do with the fact that they are both very proud Aboriginal descendants.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So they're both very big on promoting that and showing that. And I believe this clothing store is part of a charity that promotes that.
Yeah, a foundation or whatever. But also, it's in Brunswick, which is in the CBD, which is the Central
Business District.
Correct. Which is, of course, full of cameras, etc., etc., and still at the heart of the fire. Can't understand it.
No.
So Delta team start the chase and start to interrogate them and find out that they've been there and that they're...
Because they posted a picture.
They did post a picture, and that... after some digital investigation, they are on their trail to their next location as they go and stay with a friend.
Sienna.
Yes.
So Sienna had messaged one of them on Instagram to say that her house was open to them staying. The hunters find said message, and ground team are sent to Sienna's house.
And as they're at Sienna's house, they are very much inside. They hear the knock of the door, and that knock of the door is their key to Leggett. And they are very, very lucky that there's someone inside there that gives them a lift out, because they are a cat's whisker away from a third capture in 3 episodes.
And there was such a good rear access. Like, they were able to get out of the back, and it's a completely different street. And they were gone in the car, gone. And their little message to the hunters was left.
I liked the little message to the hunters on the whiteboard.
That was something like, you'll catch COVID before you catch us.
Yeah, I wasn't a massive fan of that.
No, but, you know, that was the time it was recorded in. So they leave the hunters a message. The hunters search the house. And that's where episode 3 finishes.
It is. So, right, let's have a quick Fugitive update. We've got our bits of paper. You've been scribbling on yours. I haven't yet to scribble on mine.
Yeah.
So let's have a little look. So Michelle and Angie
are gone.
Now out of the game. Jess and Erina are also now out of the game. So it'd be interesting to see where we get to next.
Yeah.
I think we're only 4 or 5 days down now.
Yeah, we're 4-5-ish.
So we look forward to seeing how that progresses. We know that Derek and Courtney are have escaped in a vehicle after a close shave. Brittany and Karen
are on the beach
making sandcastles.
Yep.
And that is pretty much it.
Yeah.
Grace and Sonny Joe, we've got no idea where they are yet.
They're dressed as a priest and a nun walking a dog.
Thank you. Punny and Chris.
They're in a car somewhere, we think.
Yeah.
We saw tiny glimpses of them, but that's it.
Lavina and Nick are having an argument over a sandwich. Will they make it to the wedding or not? Staffy and Matt
are setting decoys.
And then that leaves Jacob/Jake and Robert/Rob.
Who are somewhere out of the way, sort of in the woodland wilderness somewhere, and Rob has changed his hair.
Yes, again.
Yep.
Because he's a hairdresser, so he can do that.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at after episode 3 of Australian Hunted. Now, before we wrap things up and end this episode of the Hunted podcast, we've now watched 3 episodes.
Yes.
There's some good points in there.
Yeah.
We've talked about them a little bit, but let's talk about them a little bit more.
Okay.
If you could take one thing from what you've seen from the last 3 episodes of Hunted AU into the next series of Hunted UK, which is filming very, very soon indeed. It might even have started filming by the time this episode goes out.
Yeah.
Because we believe that Celebrity Hunter 2024 is just about to finish.
Yeah.
Annoyingly, we know basically everybody who's in it this year.
Yeah, we know. I think there's one team that we don't know.
Yeah, we'll come on to that at another time. But one thing, if the producers are listening to this, which they do, and you know,
Hi, producers.
Hi. Email us. We want to be in the show.
huntedpod@outlook.com.
Yeah, thanks. If you didn't get that, that's huntedpod@outlook.com. Could you spell that in the phonetic alphabet, please?
No.
I tried. Right. One thing to take into the UK version, please. What would you choose?
I would choose the searching of the bag.
Yes.
Because I feel that could give some good intel. Even if it's just, like you just have a quick look, just for something, I feel like it could maybe help.
Yeah, because they have done that previously in the UK version, but not massively.
No.
So I think it was only by virtue of the fact they'd got him in for interrogation. I can't remember the guy's name. Was it Io?
No, Io's friend.
Io's friend.
Io's friend, whatever his name was.
Yeah, sorry, Io's friend whose name we can't remember.
Really sorry, Io's friend.
We will find it in a second because we're now going frantically back to our notes. There's been so many series we struggle to remember. Yeah. Anyway.
Madhu.
Sorry, Madhu. Sorry.
Sorry, Madhu.
He is in HQ getting interrogated.
Yeah.
I think by Blex. I think he was the one we were referring to when we were talking about the money. It's ironic. And they do find his notebook about where it is, and they manage to deduce information from that. But I would very much like to see a little bit more. I agree. I'd love to see a little bit more of that bag searching, because, like you say, it can lead to some interesting information. Because we already know, don't we, from speaking to Bobby, from speaking to Nick and Eva, that they do carry certain things around with them.
Yeah, they have notepads, because both Bobby and Eva have shown us their notepads, so we know that they have them, and I think it maybe is something that they get given as like a standard thing, so we know.
Producers could have gone somewhere better than Wilco's, though.
There's nothing wrong with the Wilco's notepad.
Yes, there is, and I'm going to show you what there is, because I'm using the Wilco's notepad right now, and it's all falling to bits. So, up your games, Wilco's, but actually, no, up your game, because your pick and mix used to be really good. And now
your pick and mix has gone downhill.
Next.
So we know they have notepads, so just give it a little search.
Yeah, give the bag a little search and put a little bit of pressure on, and then maybe add on to that an interrogation as well.
Maybe, yeah.
Get them back to HQ and have more of an interrogation with them. I'd like to see that a little bit more. My one, it has to be the chief. I love Lisa.
Yeah.
I think she is amazing. I think she, for me, is probably the best chief that the UK version has had. And that takes nothing away from Blex, from Ben, from Brett. Well, sorry, Brett. It was just a very different vibe.
Yeah.
But we don't see a lot of what she does.
No.
A lot of the time it's give me an update and it's just delivering scathing lines, which I'm all for. You know, like, you're soft as shit, that's what you are.
Yeah.
Soft as shite, that's what you are. Get off the fence and pick. You must have so many splinters in your eyes. Get off the fence and pick one.
You're my favourite.
You're my favourite. You did better. You lasted longer than you've done on Strictly.
Yeah.
So many burning lines from Lisa.
Yeah.
I love it. Don't let it stop. I have a fear that she might not be in the next Celebrity Hunted.
Potentially, yeah.
More on that another time. I'm rambling. I've gone off track. But we don't see a lot of like what she actually does in terms of like detective work. We see her lead the team and get updates from people and ask questions and tie the narrative together, but we don't see her being active.
No.
We see David Craig in this Australian version on the phone. We see him, you know, talking to people. We see him going through things. We see him sat at a desk scrolling through information. We see him watching those interrogations and going, no, there's something I want to nitpick at there. Very much like a real detective would do when they're stood behind the glass or watching it from another room on the CCTV. He's analysing it, he steps back but takes a front foot when he needs to. I would love to see that a little bit more.
Yeah.
And if I can add in one more, I think this will probably be our joint one.
Go on then.
I think you'll agree. Explanations of what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Yes. Like, Ben explains what they're doing and why, and I feel like it really helps to know sort of the background to the process of finding people.
And it might shut the dipshits up a bit as well.
Oh, God.
Why are they going through the phones? It's obvious that they're going to do that. Here's why we're going through the phones. This is why, and this is the track of the investigation.
This is what we're looking for, and this is how we've got to this. We've not just been handed it like some dipshits think.
Yeah.
We've actually worked our way to it, and we've got there ourselves.
Yeah, and I personally, people ask whether I'm Team Hunter or Team Fugitive, right? We've put, if you follow us on social media, you'll have seen last week in the middle of Celebrity Hunted filming, we were sent some information about Danielle and Kimberly, the two soap actresses, by somebody who thought we were the Hunted HQ page, which I loved, which was funny. And we put a poll on our Instagram, do we share or do we not share?
Yep.
It was narrow, but it did say share, but we put it out in a cryptic way.
Yeah.
Did we share that information properly with the hunters, privately?
That's a secret.
Maybe we did, maybe we didn't.
That's a secret.
But people ask us whether we're Team Hunter or Team Fugitive.
Yep.
No. I'm Team...
No comment.
All right, you go no comment. I'll go with what I put on Twitter, which was Team Huntative.
Huntative, I like it.
And then I shared the meme of Lisa saying, you got so many splinters in your ass. Anyway... I am personally somebody that prefers to watch the investigation side of things.
Yeah.
Big fan of crime novels, big fan of crime dramas, true crime, that sort of thing. So the investigative process is something which really appeals to me as a viewer.
Yeah.
That's why I love shows like 24 Hours in Police Custody and things like that. Ones which tell you how, tell you why, tell you the process. I love that. And I think for a game like Hunted, where it's high stakes, capture, things like that, I would love Channel 4 and Shine, who are the production company behind it, to actually change tact a little bit now and go back from it being more of a game show and being about the thrill of the chase to the process.
Yeah, I'd like a little bit more process, a little bit more explanation, and just a bit more.
And if you don't want to do that, invite us down to Hunted HQ for a couple of days, just so we can see what's going on. I'd like that.
We
That'd be
won't
great.
cause any trouble.
No, we'll sit quietly and we'll bring sweets.
And cake.
Yeah.
And biscuits.
And we'll bring everybody a Sorry Jordan t-shirt.
Yeah.
And maybe a mug.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll make tea for everyone. We'll ask everyone what the favourite biscuit is.
We'd all have a lovely few days.
Yeah, it'd be a great few days. We'd get to learn something, you guys would have a laugh, and maybe we'd catch some fugitives in this bit of the process. We're always open for it, and if you want to get in touch, here's how.
Twitter @HuntedPod, Instagram @HuntedPod, Facebook, we're just HuntedPod, or you can email us huntedpod@outlook.com.
Yes, please do. We are also going to launch a WhatsApp number in the coming weeks. We just need to get a SIM card.
Yeah.
We've got a phone for it. We need to get a SIM card for it. But we will. And we'll, because we want to get your voice notes. We want to make it a little bit more interactive.
Yeah.
We're going to start putting questions out on Spotify through there, so you can interact through there. Get involved. It's not just about us talking. We want you guys to get involved as well. Right, we will be back next week, same time next week, as we review episode 4 and 5.
4 and 5.
Possibly 6, depending on how long the episodes are. These two were really short.
They were.
Which we're pleased about.
Yeah.
Even though they felt fucking long. We'll be back next week to review them, so make sure that you do join us. In the meantime, those social medias again one more time, if you want to get involved and have your say on all things Australian Hunted, or you can just slag off my dodgy Australian accent. I don't mind. Bring it on, you dingoes.
Twitter @HuntedPod, Instagram @HuntedPod, Facebook, we're just HuntedPod, or email huntedpod@outlook.com. And please email your thoughts, feelings, comments, questions. Just don't say just hi.
Absolutely, mate. Right, all that's left to say is your time on the pod is over. You have been hunted, and we will see you next time as the chase continues down under.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. And when they try to change, you can say no, free me.